So Dr. Nawangul told me only a few days ago, I think probably yesterday or day before maximum, that I had to come for this program. So I am a little crazy person. I have addressed more than 300 webinars on more than 100 subjects and almost reached out to more than 2.3 crore families all over the country, all the world actually. And I covered almost all parts of the world because I was running an India at World Series. So I was busy with some program, I had some program, but I changed the program only because I realized that I'll be able to talk to such distinguished group of people. And particularly, some of them, if not all of them, are from Konkan. And of course, I know Nasir Bhai is probably from Karnataka, but our neighbor, that means. And also all others who are part of this process. So let me thank Dr. Nawangul for inviting me. Thank you, Nasir Bhai, for agreeing to be, allowing me to be speaking on this program. And I really thank all of you for being there. I will speak on not for too long so that we can have time for answering any number of questions and then I'll be able to conclude. But firstly, I will speak in first about the Rotary, the role of Rotary into making India a better place, and also what are the programs that can be undertaken under these auspices of poverty eradication. So firstly, the Rotarians are the cream of the society. The best of the best is available in the form of Rotarians. And the amount of work that's done globally is just phenomenal. I remember in year 2003 probably, then I actually don't know the governor what exactly his role, but Mr. Gupta, who was probably very senior person and in Rotarian from Delhi, he told me that we are the international president of Rotary is coming to India. And because I was in Atal Bihari Vajpayee's cabinet, I was looking at water resources. And he said they are interested to work on water. Can we invite President Abdul Kalam for this program? I said, Abdul Kalam always used to call me as his friend because when I was a minister, he used to come to my office when he was not a president, of course. When he was the president, I had to call on him. So we had a very good relationship. Incidentally, Dr. Abdul Kalam came to Konkan, Sindhudurg district, to launch one of the major programs called Digital Connectivity. If time permitting, I will tell you about it. But he came to India, to Konkan, Dr. Abdul Kalam, because of my personal relationship. So I requested Dr. Abdul Kalam, and we addressed the biggest event of the Rotary in India in Vigyan Bhavan, and when President Abdul Kalam was present. So I've never been a Rotarian because I'm not as qualified as all of you are, and not as eminent as you all are in the society. So I don't probably qualify to be a Rotarian. But I have been always a follower and also respect the work of Rotary and the Rotarians in India, globally. I have addressed many conferences, even in other parts of the world for the Rotarians. So Rotary has been doing a great job. So I can say the lighter vein, you are Rotarians and I'm a Votarian. I work for votes and you work for Rotarians. So we are different. So Rotary and Votaries of different things. But Rotarians are also Votarians because they work for earning goodwill of the people, whereas we work for earning votes of the people. So you are actually doing a far better job by earning goodwill of the people and to do something really genuine for the people. So Rotarians can do a phenomenal work in bridging the gap between society and the government. Because you know, the biggest problem that we are facing in our country, our society, is that over a long period of time, we are told people that government will take care of everything. You don't worry about anything and government will do everything for you. In fact, some of my friends who are from Sindhudurg district and so some maybe from Ratnagiri, they'll recall that I won 4 Lok Sabha elections, thanks to all of them. But in no election, I promised anything. Because I said, if I can promise, and then there is nothing left for me to promise because all the previous candidates have promised everything. So if everything was fulfilled, then nothing is left for me to promise. And if promises are not to be fulfilled, and that's why they remain, so many work has to be done, then what is the purpose of giving promise? Rather, let me do something without promising. That's what I did. I gave a report. I said, I'm not getting into that. The point is that the problem is the governments, over a period of time, have told people that we'll do everything for you. That's a different matter, that it is impossible for any government to do everything for the people. But as a result of that, we have not been able to make people self-sustaining. The poverty can be reduced only when person becomes productive. If person becomes entrepreneurial, if person decides to do something on his own, just imagine, and there is a Powerwell saying that don't give a man a fish, but teach him how to fish. But take example, and using that Powerwell wisdom, just look at it in our coastal area. We have 7,720 kilometers of coastline in Maharashtra and about 7,600 kilometers coastline all over the country. But let's take therefore the example of these fisheries. If I tell fishermen that you sit at home and I will bring fish to you, and then you want to sell or you want to eat, it is up to you. If we tell a farmer that you just sit at home, somebody will do the farming for you, will produce to you, and then you decide whether you want to eat it or sell it. I tell a doctor, Dr. Nawangul, that you're a doctor, I understand, you sit at home, I will treat your patients, whatever money patient gives, I'll bring it to you, and then you decide what is to be done for it. Is it the right model? That we should tell people that you don't do anything and I will do everything for you? Or make people work on their own and facilitate their functioning. So if somebody wants to be an entrepreneur, help him to be an entrepreneur. If somebody wants to do a fisheries, create infrastructure for him, create jetty for him, help him create cold storage for him, help him to give him better shipping vessels. That is how it should do it. If somebody wants to be an entrepreneur, make sure that the hurdles in his way of becoming an entrepreneur are removed. That's the best way to do it. If you actually make every person work to his true potential, let him do more hard work than what he is doing today, but remove hurdles from his way. That's the job of the government. That government should not create hurdles, but remove the hurdles. Make his path clean so that he can work better and earn as much as he is capable of. Not all doctors can earn as much as Dr. Nawangul can earn. Not all lawyers can work as much as our top lawyers in the district can earn. But still, allow him to work to his potential. Allow him to function in a way that he realizes that I am doing my best. And therefore, if you do like this, that's how the poverty will be reduced. Poverty is a phenomena which is caused by people not earning enough. Now, if you say that I want to remove poverty or I want to make everybody earn as much as the best of the person in the society is earning, that is never possible. You can never have each and every person in India earning as much as Mukesh Ambani is earning. Or it is not a good idea to bring Mukesh Ambani to the level of the poorest of the person. That should not be the idea at all. Idea should be that every person is endowed with certain qualities, certain traits. The trait can be like, I don't know, Nasir bhai, what your business you are in, but you could be a businessman. Or Harshad Chavan, I don't know what. Sorry?
I sell computers.
Oh, good. So
I am into the sales of computers.
Oh, very good. So I am saying everybody has aptitude and everybody has certain traits. Everybody has some liking and everybody wants to do something. So let him allow to do that. And if you can succeed in doing that, I think the poverty can be reduced. But still, there will be a challenge. For example, let's take farmers. If farmer is working hard, toiling all the time, but doesn't get good price for the produce that he makes, it's a problem. Or he's not able to sell his produce to the desired marketplace, that's a problem. So in fact, during this lockdown, this happened. I was informed that our mango growers, they're not able to sell product. I requested and told Konkan Railway that run special trains so that we can take the mangoes to the local area. For fishermen, I talked to Chief Minister, worked on it so that we address their problem. So that is something which is beyond a farmer, beyond a fisherman, to remove those hurdles which come in his way. So that's the job of the government. But poverty per se can be removed only when you allow an economic activity to prosper in India. The job of the government should be to make economic prosperity increase. I'll give an example. When I was a Commerce Industry Minister, I was working on $5 trillion economy, which Prime Minister Modi has given us a vision. So I prepared a complete roadmap for $5 trillion economy. 20% of $5 trillion, that's $1 trillion, which will come from industry. And I prepared a detailed map. Industry means what will contribute in that industry. Talking to the industry leaders like Anand Mahindra, Mukesh Ambani, Ratan Tata, I brought all of them and prepared that roadmap completely and ready. 60% of $5 trillion, that's $3 trillion, will come from services. Most of you must be in the service industry, whether you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, or you are a chartered accountant, you are in hospitality business, you are in service sector. So those services are the backbone of India's economy. So we said 12 champion sectors of services, how they'll grow. So I got 5,000 crores approved from the cabinet to ensure that this will actually go ahead. Agriculture. 20% of GDP will come from agriculture. So we said 20% of that, that means $1 trillion should be coming from agriculture, and therefore we prepared agriculture export policy. Look at our farmers, our mango growers, our fishermen, our milk growers. If they can actually export it globally, they'll be able to get, target is $100 billion, that's almost 8 lakh crores of money will come into the hands of the farmers. The poverty will be gone, people will get more money into their hands. So all of this we prepared. But still, there is a problem. Even if we do all this, the wealth creation that happens in India does not necessarily percolate down to the level of the people. And that's what has happened from 1991. When we went in for a right path of changing economic pattern, that was the right path under Narsingh Rao and Manmohan Singh, the belief was that there will be a trickle-down effect. That means if you do something at a macro level, money will come down, trickle down, like it happens in Konkan wells. If rain happens, automatically, slowly, the wells in our backyard, आपल्या ह्याच्यात म्हणतो तसं आपल्या परड्यामधल्या विहिरीमध्ये पाणी येतं. But that is not the way the economy works always. Therefore, trickle down effect won't work. So I prepared another plan, that how do you make sure that each and every district of India will grow at 3 or 4% more than the normal growth. So automatically district will grow first, and then that growth will be captured national level, rather than thinking the other way around, that we do only macro level planning in Delhi and hoping that districts will also benefit. I'm happy to say we took 6 districts in India. Varanasi in the east of Varanasi in the north of India, that is Prime Minister Narendra Modi's constituency. In south, Visakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh. In east, Visakhapatnam, Andhra Pradesh is south. In east, Muzaffarpur in Bihar. And in west, you'll be happy to know, my friends, Sindhudurga and Ratnagiri district in Konkan. That is because my love is Konkan. I cannot help it. My political birth was happened because of Konkan. So I always identify myself Konkan, though I am not now member of parliament from Konkan. My heart is in Konkan. My body may be right now in Delhi. So we prepared the plan, and Indian Institute of Management and National Council for Applied Research have completely prepared the plan. I had many meetings in Sindhudurga and Ratnagiri district with the collectors and others. I presented this plan to then Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis, and this is all ready. So what will happen if we do this? If Sindhudurga and Ratnagiri district can grow at 3 or 4% more, automatically the wealth will come there. And how will Sindhudurga and Ratnagiri district will grow at 3-4% more? Small industry there will have to grow. The farmers there will have to grow. The fishermen there will have to grow. Automatically the income levels will grow up, and there's no need for trickle-down effect, because water will come into the wells automatically. As I was talking about the relationship between rain coming and then water coming into the river, or through rivers, through the streams into your wells. So ultimately, the poverty will go with working at national level, but also working at local level. I'll give an example, and I think you have wanted to know, Dr. Navangul wanted to know, how can Rotary work with this? I will just tell you, give an example. Probably you don't know this because I never publicized it. In Sindhudurga and Ratnagiri district, we have been working on a program for the last 25 years. In fact, Nakul Parsekar, Dr. Navangul and many of your friends is aware of it. And in fact, so many others are working in it. What we did was, we started preparing Parivartan Kendra for a cluster of 10 villages. We started Jana Shikshan Sansthan, first of its kind in India, and brought it to Sindhudurga district, first in India of that kind, because it was the first rural Jana Shikshan Sansthan in India. And we have trained more than 70,000-80,000 women and others for self-employment. Many of them have got a job. Through Lupin Foundation, we are working on agriculture development. We are running nursing college, which has all nurses passed from that college have got jobs. In fact, the present batch, the Ambani Hospital in Mumbai, they said all nurses of your college, we want to employ them. They already got jobs even before they passed out. So we are working on a program to create local employment and local job creation. Now, there are many schemes of the government, as Dr. Navangul was saying in the beginning, many schemes. In fact, I'll tell you how many schemes. When Atalji was the Prime Minister, I bought a booklet of all the central government programs and made them into a book, which Atal Bihari Vajpayee released. In fact, there is a very picture of it, Dr. Navangul, I'll send it to you. You can circulate to all the Rotarians. So schemes are available, but nobody is aware of the schemes. So government has schemes, people for whose benefit the schemes are there in the villages, and there is no linkage in between. That's why I said this Manav Sadhan Vikas Sanstha will act as a conduit between people and the government. But that job can be done better by Rotarians, because you know the pulse of the people. You are the most respected people in your society. You are giving your time for betterment of society, not to take anything from society, but to give it back to them. So this is exactly the spirit in which you are working. That's why I feel that Rotarians can play a very key role into removing of poverty. As I said, poverty can be removed only by starting economic activity, not by giving something, some help to somebody. And that's all we are doing. In fact, during pandemic, that was necessary, that we have to give free food, we have to provide free help for so many other things. That is all right. That is for that time. But long-term poverty eradication will happen only through sustainable economic activity. And sustainable economic activities can happen when you train people like what we are doing in Jana Shikshan Sansthan. We give them training, try to make them self-employed. We are trying to now work on a program with help of NABARD that every Parivartan Kendra, we are going to create 2 to 5 master trainers for teaching our farmers the best practices in making farming, high-tech farming, high-tech. That is what the program will launch any day now. And that will happen. We are given free cycles and free sewing machines to at least 2,000 people in Sindhudurga and 2,000 people in Konkan. Some are already under distribution. That is what the woman who gets free sewing machine now will become employable. And we are trying to give them work. I have brought James and Jewelry Export Promotion Council, the Fisheries Related Council, also footwear. That land has not been given by the government. I wanted to start footwear in Banda, near Dodamag, in Dodamag. So all of these courses are available to people in Konkan. So they can learn. So skill will lead to creation of job, and creation of job means employment for them to earn money. The training to farmers will give more training to farmers. Same thing we want to do fishermen. We are doing all these programs. That is what will remove poverty. And I think that is what we should try to do. I will stop here because as I promised you, I will answer your questions. But I will like, and that is, I first of all congratulate you. Because Rotarians are thinking in this form is fantastic. That you also work on removal of poverty. But my request is, giving something free for some time is all right. But all the time to giving free is not going to remove poverty. But we are giving them independent. And आपल्या मराठीत आपण म्हणतो सर लुळं पांगळं आपण लोकांना करतोय. So that is not a way that we can create a sustainable livelihood for the people. Creating sustainable livelihood is the only way we can remove poverty. And therefore, I think we should work on it. I will stop here and I'll be very happy to answer questions, Nasir bhai.
Yes, sir.
But I know you're all very smart people because you are all Rotarians, and I'm not as smart as you because I am not a Rotarian. So therefore, answering your questions will not be easy, but I'll make an effort. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you. It was really wonderful to hear from you. You know, in fact, I have been following you over the last so many years. And the style in which you have placed the economics, the difference between the micro and the macro economics has been wonderful. Sir, economic and social development is thrust area of Rotary. And from the district level, I can assure you that in Sindhudurg, we would be very much grateful to be associated in starting vocational centers for your people. And as you rightly said, that instead of giving fish, it is better to teach how to fish. We would definitely be, asking our presidents and our assistant governors to work in this particular segment and try to open vocational centers around Sindhudurg and Ratnagiri Chiplund areas so that this area can get developed. And as you rightly said, that these are the districts among the 6 that you have selected. They would really outshine everybody, and we can take the flag of Maharashtra up and above. It was really wonderful listening to you. And now, Rajesh, you may be having the questions. Yeah. I request you to please place the questions before Suresh ji. And I'm very confident that the solution that what he is going to give us is going to change the economic scenario of our area. Over to you, Rajesh.
Yeah, one question is from Dilawar Desai, Rotary Club of Dharwad. Already, Prabhu sir have answered his question because it is a poverty is deep rooted in India and poor have been suppressed by some forces trying to keep poor as poor, and their political for political gain, the politicians are suppressing these people so how poverty will get removed. So already answered in his speech. So again, sir, what is your comment regarding this?
Basically, as I said, see, the poverty happens. I'm just telling you a global context also. I've been to 140 countries, 144 countries actually. And I addressed in many, many issues, including poverty at United Nations, many times. I used to be advisor to UN on the same issue. To tell you something, see, poverty can happen in any society because of lack of resources. If you don't have natural resources, you are poor because you don't have resources. Some of the countries in Africa, for example, like say Ethiopia, has a problem because they don't have resources and therefore they're poor. So lack of natural resources can lead to this. Other reason for poverty is lack of human resources. Because some countries don't have people and therefore they cannot, there's nobody to work, so that's a problem. But even if you have human resource, the human resource is not fully trained, that's why they are not employable. That's why people can remain poor. The third reason for poverty is lack of infrastructure. Because if we are landlocked countries, some countries are landlocked. So they, like say example of Mongolia. Mongolia is a landlocked country. So there are only 2 neighbors, Russia and China. So they are a problem for them. They don't have port, nothing. Just imagine, we have everything. India is having blessed with natural resources. India's human power is so magnanimous. All of them are seeing here. Nasir bhai, you can tell you how brilliant all of you are as Rotarians. So there is nothing to, so human power is fantastic. Wherever Indians go, they succeed all over the world. They're the top players in the world. So human is not a problem, but maybe lack of training is a problem because they may be good, but they are not trained. That's why I told you that we started training program 25 years ago. See, this program, Jana Shikshan Sansthan, was brought to Sindhudurga district and now we are getting Ratnagiri 25 years ago. And this, we started creating Atmanirbharta 25 years ago. So Mohan Hodavdekar is to be also my colleague, is to my PA that time. But Vijay Kenavdekar, who is also from Sindhudurga, and you know him, probably some of you know him, he wrote an article that day. Actually, I had not thought about it. He said this Atmanirbharta we started 25 years ago. So we are working on all these areas. I feel that poverty. So I was saying, one is removing natural resource we have got. Secondly, people, if you give them training, and that's what we are doing through Jana Shikshan Sansthan. So that is also there. Third, lack of infrastructure. I don't want to tell you, but in Sindhudurga district and Ratnagiri district, we launched India's first ever Prime Minister Gram Sadak Yojana. I brought Venkaiah Naidu, today's Vice President, that time Rural Development Minister. He came to Sindhudurga district in Kankoli and Rajapur in Ratnagiri to launch this nationally because he said Suresh Prabhu had devised this scheme under Atal Bihari Vajpayee. So we got maximum amount of money for roads, for ports, many things. But so infrastructure is that is necessary. Now all of this is available. Why should we be poor? So there is something wrong in the gap between government and the people. So Rotaries can bridge that gap. And our Manav Sadhan Vikas Samstha can bridge that gap. We have brought together 250 local NGOs to run this Parivartan Kendra. So we'll be happy, Doctor and Nasir Bhai, to work with Rotary to make sure that Rotarians, with all your talent, all your capabilities, all your commitment, can actually act as change agents to bring about transformation into the lives of the poor people.